Hi, and welcome to Concussion Talk Podcast. I'm Nick Mercer. This is episode 31, and I'll be talking to Brett Gibson, the Queen's University men's hockey coach. We'll be talking about concussions in hockey among student athletes and his own personal experience. Hi, I'm not talking to Brett Gibson, the Queen's men's hockey coach, and I will get Brett to tell us about Queen's hockey and where it is and what division and all that stuff.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, no, Queens men's hockey. I've been the head coach here for 14 years. We play out of Kingston, Ontario, obviously in the OUA East of the U Sport. So our competition is from the north in Ontario, as well as 3 Quebec schools, being UQTR, Concordia, and McGill as well, Nick.
Okay, great. So just tell us about Queens is in just. I mean, obviously I know because I went there, but I mean for the listening audience. So where are you located? Where is Queens, frankly?
Yeah, basically, Queens is in Kingston, Ontario. Basically, the easy ways to describe it is we're about halfway between Toronto and Montreal, and our campus is based right on Lake Ontario, which is just a fantastic place to live, and you know what, not too far from too many things.
Great. Well, I guess that's awesome. Well, obviously I knew that, but I mean, still nice. It's good to go back there. So I'll start off the question now. So does Queens have any rules about brain injuries, including concussion, or the CAOA?
Yep, and I think it starts with Ontario as well. With this year, with Bill 193 being passed with Roman's Law, you've seen a lot of advanced education based on the new concussion system. So I think it's great. I think the number one thing about Roman's Law is it's to protect amateur athletes first and foremost, but it's also to educate the coaches and the support staff of the universities about concussions. And Queens has done a fabulous job. We've already had extensive education sessions as coaches in early August. And then when we came back with our athletes in early September, we've had a concurrent session basically about concussions, talking about them, signs of concussions. And then also we have baseline testing at Queens for all our athletes. So when they come into Queens, it's mandatory. Everyone does a baseline test. And from there, that information is not just put away. It's also, I think the main thing that we need to do with baseline is continue to do them twice throughout the year. So I feel Queens has done a fantastic job. I think we're ahead of the game. I think as coaches, making headway, e-learning module through the Canadian Centre of Ethics and Sports, I think it's at the forefront, and we need to be knowledgeable. We're not doctors, but we're around these kids an awful lot, and we need to know the science, and I think we've done a great job at Queens of doing that.
Yeah, great. Well, actually, that kind of leads well into my next question. Is there a protocol when someone you think a player has a concussion or is a bit woozy or any signs of concussion? Is there a protocol to follow?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Nick, I can start with one of my close friends, Alan McCauley, has lost his career in the National Hockey League because of concussion. So, and the one thing he always says to me is there's no such thing as a minor injury when it comes to your brain. And I think right off the bat, the signs are easy to pick out. You know, anytime there's a big hit or a contact to the head, I think you need to really ask the question is are you all right? How are you feeling? Because it doesn't need to be a massive hit. As you know, is any jar brain, it could be whiplash, it could be falling, it could be a lot of different things. It just doesn't have to be a direct blow to the head. So, yes, there is protocol. Obviously, if a kid does show signs of a concussion, it's a minimum 7 days from the first day that he feels normal again. So those players, they can't start and they got to feel normal again. That's where the baseline comes into effect. So once they pass their baseline test and get back to where they're feeling they can get back to their everyday life, then it's another 7 days on top of that till they can play.
Wow. So have you heard, I know that's Queen's protocol, right? Or have you heard from the leagues or?
That's pretty standard across the board now. With Bill 193 passed, I think that it should be standard across the universities now.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So have you ever? Because you get players not come here and I'll see it there. I guess hockey not their first focus, right? Schooling, but in Queens, but then on hockey. So have you ever heard from friends or family of that player of a concussed player who are saying on you about when they can play again, or if they should, or if they think they should play or shouldn't play? Have they ever talked to about that?
100%. Like at my level too, right? Like the way I look at it is school's 1A and hockey's 1B, but you can't do either one of them if you're concussed and you do have a brain injury, and parents are concerned. I think it's important to have that dialogue, and I have that dialogue with parents all the time because they know their sons and daughters the best. And if they're noticing some difference in their behaviors, that's one of the signs, right? And agitation, depression, anger, those are all signs of concussions. And if they're feeling that, I encourage the parents to give me a call and have those tough talks, because you're right. These players want to play, and it's demanding now. Players in and out of the lineup, and sometimes they ignore the signs, which they shouldn't. And that's not. We want an open environment where players and coaches can be trusted, and that's what I encourage with my players to let me know. And I think that 7 days seems like a lot, but at least they are healthy and they're ready to go when that 7 days is up.
Excellent. Well, actually, geez, you did great segue into my next question, which is, has any player ever come to you themselves and said, I'm feeling a bit weird, and I don't feel right on the ice or whatever? Have they ever come to you directly, and then you haven't known that maybe they got a concussion at home or in outside of hockey that you didn't see?
100%. It's happened multiple times, and it does catch you off guard because you look at him and he looks normal. He looks like he's playing the game at the right tempo. He looks like he looks great in practice, and then when they come up to you and say, Gibby, I'm not feeling up to task. I'm not feeling the way I should. I feel dizzy, or I'm having headaches. It does catch you off guard, but I think it's courage. I think the guys to be able to express what they're feeling, and if they're not feeling right, I think it's up to us coaches to support them too as well, and that's when we got to get the help they deserve.
Yeah. So actually, will lead me into my next question, which is, you mentioned your friend Al McCauley. How about concussion? Have you yourself ever had a concussion? Well, I assume you played hockey.
Yeah.
So just what happened? When was it? Were multiple?
Yeah, mine was scary actually. I played hockey my whole life. I ended up being a first-round pick to the Ontario Hockey League, and my first game in the Ontario Hockey League, I'll never forget, was in North Bay. I remember getting the puck in the neutral zone, cutting across the middle, and I don't remember much after that.
Wow.
That was my first concussion. I got caught with my head down, and you know what? It was one of the first times where I didn't feel like myself, and I had to miss about a month of the season to start of my OHL career. So that was tough. And then I think this, after you get one, you're more susceptible to get them, and the hits are less after that. And I ended up getting probably 3 or 4 along the way throughout my career. I had one in university, I had one in pro, and they're concerning. And now that I'm a dad and I'm older and I've been coaching for 15 years, and there are days I wonder are the headaches a result of the injuries I had previously, but I don't regret any of the game. That's unfortunate. We sign up for the risk, but in my era, I just wish we talked about it more. I think in Al's era, near the end of his career, I think they started to begin to talk and became serious. But I tell you, when I first played, there wasn't much talk about concussions. It was just spray some water in your face and get back out there, which I'm glad that era is gone. And I'm glad we're really thinking about the health of our athletes.
So did you ever think about it when you were playing or when you're in practice? Did you ever think about I had a concussion, or I feel knocked hard and I should take it easy, or I should just call it a day early or something like that?
I wish I thought that way. I remember I felt left out if you weren't playing and you tried to get back, and you wanted to get back probably quicker than you should have. And that's probably a regret. I think you should take the time but concussions, they're a funny thing. Unless you've had one, you don't really know. And each concussion's differently, and each guy reacts to concussions differently. And that's why you got to be careful with the depression part about it, because anyone that you have headaches and you feel alone and you feel depressed, like those aren't normal signs, and it usually is a result of something, right? And that's the scary thing about concussions.
And actually, thank you. Finally, have you ever players or teammates, even for that matter, or even you, have you ever have you noticed anything in their play that's different, like once they've recovered from concussion and come back to the game, or ones you did? Have you noticed any changes in their style of play or the way they play?
Every case is different. I've seen guys come back and can't play the game anymore because they can't play the style they were used to, and they were scared to play that style again. So there's one example. You find other guys come back, and you know what? You don't miss a beat. Like they look like the exact same player. And then you have guys, Nick, I've had multiple over the years that they have their first concussion, and at this age, from 20 to 25. They realize that maybe there's more to life than just the sport of hockey and just retire. So there's multiple different ways that these brain injuries happen, but it's every scenario is different and then unique, and that's the way I look at them with concussions.
Well, it sounds like you're certainly well versed on the issue, so that's important, and it's good to hear that Queens is doing well and they've got a good coach. And has their season hasn't started yet, has it? Their season starts?
We start next Friday in McGill. So,
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So the Redmond, right?
Game right off the bat.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many times would you play them? How many games do you play during the season, let's say?
We play them twice, home and away, but we always end up playing each other in the playoffs. So you're going to get them a few times along the way. So,
how many games do you play during the season?
28 regular season games is what we play in the OUA.
Okay. Oh, nice. So you play and your season goes from October to...
Basically October till March. That's where the season goes. And we get 2 weeks off at Christmas for exams. So that's kind of where it goes there.
Okay, so you play like 3 times a month or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. So.
Cool.
Well, I hope it helped a bit, Nick, and I wish you all the best in these podcasts.
Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. Thank you. And go Queens.
I appreciate that, Nick. Take care of yourself, bud, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye. I would like to thank Brett Gibson once again for a great conversation. Please tune in next week for another episode of Concussion Talk Podcast. And please check out my website at www.concussiontalk.com. Thank you. As always, the music at the beginning of this podcast is by Ben Sound, www.bensound.com.